You've been lied to about respect. They told you to be polite, smile more, don't rock the boat. And now, people walk over you like a doormat with a welcome sign. That's not because you're kind, it's because you're predictable. Here's what nobody mentions. The most respected people you know aren't the nicest. They're the ones who understand something deeper about human psychology, something that goes back centuries before self-help books tried to sanitize it. Centuries before self-help existed, someone noticed something uncomfortable. People stop respecting what they get without cost. Machiavelli put it bluntly. It's better to be feared than loved if you can't be both. Not because cruelty works, but because what's always available gets taken for granted. So let's fix this. 5 psychological principles that actually work. First, scarcity of availability. Your time is the only currency you'll never get back, yet you hand it out like free samples at Costco. Every yes when you mean no. Every favor for someone who wouldn't cross the street for you. Carl Jung talked about the shadow self, the parts of us we reject to be socially acceptable. Your shadow includes the word no, and until you reclaim it, you're operating at half capacity. Here's the shift. When someone asks for your time, pause. 3 seconds. Then decide based on your priorities, not their urgency. Watch what happens. Suddenly, when you do say yes, it means something. Scarcity creates value. Always has. A guy I know used to answer work calls at 11 p.m. every time. His boss learned he could dump Friday projects on him Sunday night. When he stopped, just stop picking up after 7 p.m. His boss didn't fire him. He started planning better. Respect isn't given to the available, it's given to the selective. Second, consistency under pressure. You know that person who's sweet until things go wrong, then crumbles or lashes out? Nobody respects that. Not really. Because respect is built on predictability. Knowing someone won't shapeshift when stakes get high. This isn't about being emotionless. It's about having a stable core. The Stoics called it apatheia. Not apathy, but freedom from being jerked around by circumstances. Practical version, if you set a boundary, defend it even when it's uncomfortable. If you state a position, don't backpedal the second someone frowns. Inconsistency reads as weakness at a subconscious level. People test boundaries. That's normal. What matters is whether you hold the line. Example, you tell your team you need focused work time from 9 to 11. First day, someone interrupts with something urgent. If you fold, you just taught them your boundaries are decorative. If you hold firm and say, I'll handle it at 11, you taught them your word is law. One interaction. That's all it takes to set precedent. Third, strategic disagreement. Agreeableness is a personality trait. High agreeableness correlates with being well-liked. It also correlates with lower salaries and getting passed over for leadership roles. Why? Because leaders need to be able to say, no, we're not doing that, without their voice shaking. You don't have to be contrarian for sport. But if you never disagree, people assume you either have no opinions or you're hiding them out of fear. Both kill respect. The move, when you genuinely disagree, say it plainly, not aggressively, just clearly. I see it differently, is a complete sentence. Then explain your reasoning without apologizing for having a brain. This does something interesting. It separates you from the sea of nodding heads. It shows you're processing, not just performing. And weirdly, even when people disagree with your disagreement, they respect that you had the spine to voice it. Fourth, reward selectively, not universally. Behavioral psychology is simple. What you reward, you get more of. You reward bad behavior with your attention, patience, second chances. Guess what multiplies? This applies everywhere. The friend who only calls when they need something. The coworker who misses deadlines but knows you'll cover. The romantic partner who takes you for granted because you're low maintenance. You're training them, unintentionally, but training them. The fix isn't cruelty, it's differential response. When someone shows up for you, acknowledge it. When they don't, notice that too. Pull back proportionally. No drama, no lectures, just natural consequences. A woman I know had a friend who flaked constantly. Instead of the usual, no worries, text, she just stopped extending invitations. Didn't explain, didn't punish, just reallocated her effort to people who matched her energy. 6 months later, the friend asked why they never hung out anymore. She said, I invite people who show up. Friendship resumed with 90% less flaking. Funny how that works. Fifth, earned vulnerability, not default vulnerability. There's a therapy speak idea floating around. that vulnerability equals strength. Sometimes true. But dumping your emotional baggage on people you barely know? That's not vulnerability. That's poor boundaries dressed up as authenticity. Real respect comes from earned vulnerability. You prove your competence, your reliability, your strength first. Then, you show the cracks. That's what makes it powerful. Think of it like this. If a Navy SEAL tells you he struggles with anxiety, you listen. If a random guy at a bus stop opens with his trauma, you're looking for the exit. Same disclosure, different context. Respect is the context. So stop leading with your wounds. Lead with your capability. Let people see you handle things. Then, selectively, with people who've earned it, let them see the cost of handling things. That's the sequence. Here's the part they don't tell you. Respect isn't a personality transplant. You don't have to become cold or calculating. You just have to stop negotiating yourself down to fit into spaces that weren't built for you. Machiavelli, Jung, the Stoics, they weren't describing cruelty. They were describing sovereignty. The ability to govern yourself so well that others naturally look to you for direction. This week, do one thing differently. Say no once without explaining yourself. Watch who respects you more and who disappears. That difference tells you everything.